The hip-hop world is reeling tonight after devastating reports shook the culture to its core. Rap legend T.I., now 55, is said to be completely shattered after learning his son, King Harris, was brutally attacked behind bars. What was supposed to be just another day in lockup turned into a nightmare of blood, betrayal, and chaos that no father could ever be prepared for. Eyewitnesses inside the jail are already leaking shocking details, painting a picture of a vicious ambush that left King Harris fighting for his safety and his pride. According to insiders, the attack wasn't random. It was targeted, a setup, a warning. And the whispers are growing louder that this is only the beginning of a much darker story. Social media exploded within minutes. Hashtags like #PrayForKing and #TipHeartBroken trended worldwide as fans demanded justice and accountability. Viral clips, grainy and violent, began circulating online, allegedly showing King in the middle of the chaos. The screams, the shouts, the violence, it's a scene fans can't unsee. But the most shocking part? Reports suggest T.I. is already calling in lawyers, making phone calls, and even considering drastic measures to pull his son out of harm's way, no matter the cost. The courtroom battles, the street whispers, the family's heartbreak, all of it is about to spill into the public eye. This isn't just a headline. This is a war between blood, reputation, and survival. And it may destroy everything T.I. has worked for. The whispers started in the darkest corners of social media before they exploded into a full-blown firestorm. It was late at night when the first blurry video dropped. A grainy 30-second clip, allegedly filmed on a contraband phone, showed chaos erupting in a crowded jail block. Shouts echoed, metal clanged, and in the middle of it all, a young man with braids, his face recognizable even through the distortion, struggling as fists rained down. Fans froze the frames, zoomed in, and confirmed the unthinkable. It was King Harris, son of rap royalty T.I. and Tiny Dot. The clip spread like wildfire. Within minutes, hashtags lit up every platform. Twitter turned into a battleground of emotions. How could this happen to T.I.'s son? One fan screamed. Another wrote, "King always talked like he was tough. Now the streets tested him for real." Instagram blogs plastered the video everywhere, and YouTube breakdowns popped up dissecting every frame like it was the Zapruder tape. Behind the scenes, jail insiders leaked even darker details. This wasn't a random brawl. According to one inmate, King had been lured into the day room under the guise of a friendly dice game. What he didn't know was that rivals had been plotting his downfall for weeks. They saw the cameras, the fame, the privilege of being T.I.'s son, and they wanted to send a message. One voice memo leaked to a gossip blogger captured a chilling confession. "We had to show him he ain't special in here. This ain't no VIP section. This is jail." When the news reached T.I., sources say the trap legend was devastated. He was filming a podcast appearance when his phone buzzed nonstop. At first, he ignored it. But when a trusted family member finally broke the news, the color drained from his face. Witnesses described him as shaking, furious, and heartbroken all at once. In that moment, the man who built an empire on being unshakable, on being the king of the South, looked broken. He allegedly muttered to himself, "Not my boy. Not like this." Tiny King's mother reportedly collapsed into tears when she saw the video. Friends close to the family say she screamed at T.I., "You promised me he'd be safe. You promised." The Harris household, once a symbol of Black excellence and hip-hop royalty, was suddenly divided by fear, anger, and blame. But the fallout didn't stop there. A second leaked clip surfaced just hours later, longer and more violent. In this one, King could be heard screaming, "Y'all gonna pay for this? I'm T.I.'s son," before being dragged across the floor. That line became an instant meme, with critics mocking him for name-dropping his daddy in jail. But for fans, it was gut-wrenching. It wasn't bravado. It was desperation. The attack left King bruised, battered, and humiliated. Whispers suggest he suffered a broken rib and cuts across his face. Photos leaked of him being escorted to medical, his head hung low, blood smeared on his shirt. Yet even as his body crumbled, his pride seemed even more shattered. Meanwhile, inside the jail, the tension skyrocketed. Some inmates reportedly began bragging about being part of the attack, while others warned that retaliation was already brewing. One anonymous caller to a gossip hotline claimed that rival gangs inside had set King up to gain clout both inside and outside. They knew if they touched him, the whole world would talk about it, the source said. And they were right outside the walls. T.I. was already moving. Phone calls were made to lawyers. A high-powered legal team allegedly began preparing emergency motions to have King transferred or even released early for safety reasons. But whispers suggest the process won't be easy. Some insiders say the state isn't eager to give King special treatment, even if his father is a legend. One legal analyst wrote on Twitter, "T.I. has power, but not enough to bend prison politics. The King's in real danger." The industry also reacted. Rap stars chimed in one by one. Boosie posted a cryptic tweet, "Ain't no fame in there, it's all pain. Prayers up for Lil Bro." 50 Cent, never one to miss a chance to stir drama, dropped an Instagram post showing the jail clip with a caption, "Tough talk doesn't mean nothing when the doors lock." The post went viral instantly, with thousands of fans debating whether he was mocking or simply stating the cold truth. And then came the betrayal. An alleged leaked phone call between King and another inmate revealed that someone close to him on the inside had set him up. The voice on the tape said, "He thought we were cool. He ain't see it coming." Fans were left reeling. Could King's so-called allies in jail have turned on him for clout? The betrayal hit even harder when speculation grew that the ally was someone King had been helping, someone he trusted. As the story unfolded, bloggers hinted at an even bigger twist. They claimed there's yet another unreleased video. It's one even worse than the first two, sitting in the hands of a blogger waiting for the right moment to drop it. The whispers say this one shows not just the attack, but the aftermath. King crying in his cell, breaking down completely, begging guards for help. If that video hits the internet, it won't just be a scandal, it will be a legacy-shattering humiliation for the Harris family. And that's where we leave the first stage of this chaos. A brutal attack, a devastated father, a family divided, a son whose pride and body have been torn apart behind bars. But the darkest secrets haven't even surfaced yet, because the whispers say the attack wasn't just about King Harris. It was about sending a message to T.I. himself. The question hanging in the air: who ordered this hit and why? The attack on King Harris was brutal, but insiders say it wasn't random chaos, it was calculated. Rumors began swirling that this wasn't just prison politics, but a message. And that message, it was aimed directly at his father. TIA jail insider who spoke on condition of anonymity leaked a chilling account. This wasn't about King. The betrayal hit harder when alleged text messages surfaced between that inmate's girlfriend and a known blogger. Screenshots, if real, showed her bragging that her man had handled TIS boy and that she was already in talks to sell the story. The messages sparked a new wave of fury. If true, this wasn't just about violence. It was about clout, money, and exploitation of a family tragedy. As the Harris family reeled, celebrities chimed in. Rick Ross posted a cryptic story showing himself pacing in his mansion, saying they don't want peace. They want chaos. But trust me, the bosses always find out who pulled the strings. Cardi B, known for her bluntness, went on Instagram Live and said, "Y'all playing with people's kids? That's not gangster. That's cowardly." Her comments went viral, sparking debates about the blurred lines between street respect and sheer cruelty. And then the most shocking twist yet. Allegedly, someone leaked a short but disturbing voicemail King left for his father after the attack. His voice was shaky, breaking down in sobs as he said, "Dad, I can't do this. I thought I was strong, but they broke me. Please get me out." The voicemail tore through social media, leaving fans shattered. Some mocked him for weakness, but many rallied in support, reminding the world that behind the fame, King was still just a young man facing horrors most couldn't imagine in the aftermath. T.I.'s enemies seized the moment. Old rivals began resurfacing, taking subliminal shots at him on social media. One anonymous burner account, allegedly tied to an old beef, posted, "A king can't protect his prince." That's the truth of the streets. Screenshots of the post went viral, with fans speculating who was behind it as the drama escalated. T.I. was spotted storming into his lawyer's office. Flanked by security, his face set like stone. The paparazzi shouted questions. He didn't answer, but his body language screamed vengeance. Insiders whispered he was ready to pull every string, call every favor, and spend every dollar to protect King. But whispers also suggested he was considering something more dangerous, handling things the street way. Tiny was said to be terrified. She allegedly confided in friends, "I'm scared Tip is going to throw everything away. He can't bring the king home by starting a war. But I can't stop him when he's this hurt." The Harris family, once united in reality TV glamour, was now fractured by fear, betrayal, and rage. And just when fans thought the story couldn't get darker, TMZ dropped a bombshell. Leaked court documents suggested that the jail officials had already been warned about a possible attack on King days before it happened. If true, this means someone on the inside either ignored the warnings or let it happen on purpose. The internet exploded again. Was this negligence or corruption? Was King targeted not just by inmates, but with the silent approval of officials? By the end of the week, the Harris family was trapped in a storm bigger than anyone expected. King was bruised and broken. T.I. was enraged, and Tiny was desperate for peace. But the whispers about official corruption, betrayal, and outside enemies suggested one thing: this wasn't over. And that's where the tension skyrockets. Because the latest rumor claims the attack wasn't the endgame. It was the opening move in a much bigger plan. But the chilling question remains: who's really pulling the strings? And how far will they go to destroy T.I. through his son? As the days passed after the brutal attack, the story spiraled far beyond a simple jailhouse brawl. What began as whispers of violence had evolved into a storm of conspiracy, betrayal, and scandal that reached from the prison yard to the highest levels of power. And at the center of it all was a devastated father. T.I., watching his son's suffering become the weapon his enemies used against him, the alleged leaks didn't stop. New audio surfaced, this time of an inmate bragging during a phone call. "We got the boy. And guess what? We ain't done yet." The smug laughter on the tape sent chills down the spines everywhere. This wasn't random. It was a campaign. A takedown. Then came the most shocking leak of all: security footage. Allegedly from inside the facility, showing guards standing idly by as the ambush on King erupted. Some even appeared to smirk. The grainy video, posted on Twitter by a mysterious account, suggested that not only was the attack orchestrated, but the people meant to protect King might have been complicit. Fans were outraged, demanding accountability. While hashtags like #JusticeForKing and #ShutDownTheSystem trended. WORLDWIDETI's rage reportedly boiled over when he saw the footage. Sources close to the family say he slammed his phone down, shattering it before shouting to his team, "They want war. Then it's war. I'm not letting my boy rot while they laugh at him." Tiny, meanwhile, was pleading for reason. She begged Tip to stay calm, to fight this through the courts, not the streets. But T.I. wasn't hearing it. His voice, usually measured and confident, cracked with fury. "They don't understand lawyers. They understand power. And I'm about to show them," as if things weren't dark enough. The betrayal saga deepened. Another leak suggested that one of King's so-called friends outside the jail was feeding information to bloggers, selling private details of his medical condition and family conversations for quick cash. Screenshots of alleged DMEs showed a blogger bragging, "They pay me thousands just to post one clip of him crying." The internet erupted. with fans disgusted at how far people were willing to go to profit off the Harris family's pain. Then came the industry fallout. A few rappers quietly unfollowed T.I. on social media, sparking rumors they didn't want to be dragged into his war. At the same time, others rallied around him. Meek Mill posted prayers for the young king. "These systems set us up to fail," Snoop Dogg commented. "Stand tall tip. Protect your family." The hip-hop community was split down the middle, some seeing T.I. as a grieving father fighting back, others as a man about to make a move that could ruin everything he'd built. But the biggest twist came when an anonymous whistleblower claimed this entire ordeal wasn't just street politics, it was connected to something much bigger. Allegedly, a powerful figure with ties to both the music industry and political circles wanted T.I. silenced. The attack on King was simply the first strike, a way to remind Tip that his enemies had reached beyond contracts and courts. Whether true or not, the story caught fire. Fans began speculating wildly, pulling up old beefs, old interviews, and old lawsuits to piece together a dark web of enemies who might have wanted revenge amid the chaos. King himself finally spoke out, or rather, a leaked letter from him did. Written in shaky handwriting, the note allegedly read, "I tried to act tough, but I'm just scared. I don't know who to trust here. Dad, please don't do anything crazy for me. Just get me out." The letter spread like wildfire, breaking hearts everywhere. It showed King wasn't just bruised, he was broken. T.I., however, wasn't backing down. In a heated phone call that later leaked, reportedly told an ally, "They think they can break my boy, but they can't break me. I'll go all the way for him." Whatever it takes, his words were both inspiring and terrifying, suggesting he was willing to risk everything to save his son. The climax came when rumors swirled that T.I. was preparing to leak evidence. Not of the attack itself, but of corruption inside the jail. Allegedly, he had receipts, documents, recordings, even video proving the officials not only knew King was a target, but allowed it to happen. One source hinted, Tip's about to pull the pin on a grenade that'll blow the whole system wide open. And just as fans braced for that bombshell, an even darker twist surfaced, whispers that the attack on King might not be the last. Allegedly, plans were already in motion for another message to be sent if T.I. didn't back down. The threat was chilling. This wasn't just about King anymore. It was about control, intimidation, and forcing one of hip-hop's biggest names into submission by the end of the week. The Harris family stood on the edge of destruction. King was battered and begging for safety. Tiny was broken, torn between her husband's fury and her son's fear. And he was standing at the center of the storm, facing down enemies seen and unseen. With the weight of his son's life on his shoulders, the final image fans were left with was haunting. T.I. photographed outside his mansion, his head bowed, his face heavy with grief. But in his eyes, you could see it, the fire of a man who wasn't done fighting. And so the story doesn't end. It only grows darker, more twisted, and more dangerous. Because if one thing is clear, it's this: the attack on King Harris wasn't the end game. It was only the opening shot in a war that could destroy T.I.'s family, his legacy, and maybe even his freedom. The question that hangs over everything now, will T.I. unleash his wrath? Or will he find a way to save his son before it's too late? And now we're left staring at the wreckage of a family that once seemed untouchable. A father broken, a son battered, a mother begging for peace, while enemies in the shadows move their pieces on the board. Every leak, every rumor, every viral clip points to one chilling truth. This is bigger than a jail fight. This is a war. And the next move could change everything. So the question is simple. Will T.I. finally unleash the bombshell evidence that insiders claim he's sitting on? Will King Harris make it out of jail alive and intact? Or will the whispers of another setup come true? And most importantly, who's really pulling the strings behind this sinister campaign? These aren't just headlines. These are life or death stakes. But here's the reality. By the time the blogs catch up, it might be too late. Stories like this don't just simmer, they erupt. Tomorrow's leak, tomorrow's footage, tomorrow's betrayal could be the one that flips the entire narrative upside down. And if you're not locked in here, you're going to be left in the dust while the world moves on without you. So don't wait. Smash that like button if you believe the truth about this attack needs to come out. Drop your comments below. Is T.I. right to fight fire with fire? Or should he step back before it destroys his family? And most importantly, hit subscribe right now and turn on all notifications. Because the moment the next leak drops, the moment another voice memo, another video, another betrayal surfaces, we'll be here breaking it down first. This isn't just entertainment. This is survival. Stay ready, because the war for King Harris is only beginning.